Hello to all that may come across this video. Welcome to the Civil Insurgent. With so much going on in America's social and political world today, there's more to talk about than there is time to talk about it, so let's get into this story. Admiral Michael Gilday, Chief of Naval Operations, rebuffed pointed interrogations by GOP lawmakers for recommending that sailors read a book deemed by some conservatives as anti-American. That's right, Republicans pounce. The book in question is How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. I'm going to go ahead and read some quotes from this book. Racist ideas make people of color think less of themselves, which makes them feel more vulnerable to racist ideas. Racist ideas make white people think more of themselves, which further attracts them to racist ideas. Now, I find this weird, as racist ideas in the forefront nowadays is from the left, generally aimed at straight white males, especially if they're conservative. Here's another quote. Any gospel that does not speak to the issue of enslavement and injustice and inequality, any gospel that does not want to go where people are hungry and poverty-stricken and set them free in the name of Jesus Christ is not the gospel. So my take on this is, from now on, in church, we must speak on the enslaved Uyghurs under the communist reigns of the CCP in China, or maybe the average salary for a family in Cuba, which is only about $20 a month, and their food rations for one person for 1 month that typically only lasts for about 2 weeks. Where's the outrage? We have nothing comparable happening in the United States today. Well, of course, if we're actually going by the objective meaning of the terminology he used. But anyways, getting back to the story, Gilday defended his moves to address and root out racism and extremism in the forces, as well as its efforts to bolster inclusion and diversity. You're going to have certain individuals anywhere, maybe even in one of the branches of our military, that are on the fringes and can be considered racist, but that will never equal the amount that considers everybody they serve with as their brother or sister, and they'd be fighting right by their side in the most dangerous situations imaginable. As far as extremism goes, why is it now only limited to one side? Anybody who's said to have supported Trump or is overtly patriotic, maybe they have an American flag or a Blue Lives Matter flag on the back of their pickup truck, they're now considered an extremist in these times. Why not the so-called anti-fascists or Antifa, who recently were compared to D-Day troops storming the beaches of Normandy by multiple left-wing journalists? But to the public who know better and aren't only watching CNN or MSNBC, know them for far more, busting windows out of every storefront that happens to be in their pathway, or even cementing police station doors closed and setting the building on fire in Seattle. But we're going to get back to Gilday. Gilday fires back at his critics from the GOP, saying, this is a bigger issue than Kendi's book. What this is really about is trying to paint the U.S. military and the U.S. Navy as weak and woke. He then points out it's about transparency and an open dialogue about racism. The key point being sailors need to be able to think critically. Critically, he says. Critically as in critical theory or critical race theory. The woke ideology that has infected our universities, our politics, and now the military. I encourage everybody to do their homework on critical race theory and not to accept it as it's being portrayed by leftist politicians and mainstream media as simple racial sensitivity, because that's complete nonsense. Now, we can only hope this ideology doesn't spread through all of our military branches and we can come to our senses. But that's all I have for today. I will see you on the next one. Over.